Welcome back into the screening room. We've got 7 flicks to talk about, both in theaters and for home streaming. And she is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And we're from MaddWolf.com. And let's start off in the theaters, the return of James L. Brooks.
First up in theaters, an idealistic young woman juggles her family and work life in a comedy about the people you love and how to survive them. Ella McCay.
Well, comedy seems like a stretch.
Yes, James L. Brooks, veteran, legendary, 88 years old. Broadcast news.
Sorry,
we're talking about the movies.
Terms of endearment.
Yeah, as good as it gets.
Oh my God! And then of course Simpsons.
Simpsons. If you go all the way back, I mean, heck, he wrote for the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh my gosh.
Back in the day, and Mary Tyler Moore, and yeah, on through the Simpsons. So legendary career. And you mentioned some great films.
Broadcast news. I love that movie.
Yes, and I think this might be his first one in 12 years. And we first saw the trailer a few weeks ago, and I remember thinking, that looks awful. There's no way that movie can be that bad. Well, sorry to say, yes, it is. It's bad. It's really bad.
It's unwatchable.
It's a mess. It's a mess. It's one that if I wasn't going to talk about it and review it, I would have seriously considered walking out. I mean, it's that bad. And I hate to say that. But it's so bad. It's just a mess. And it's got some great people in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's led by Emma McCay. And she's got darker hair in this one, because when she's a blonde, she's like the Margot Robbie triumvirate.
Yeah.
Of Margot and Samara Weaving and Emma McCay.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not as much when she's a brunette like she has in this movie, but
it's pretty bad. I mean, it's really. But also, Woody Harrelson is it? Camille Johnny, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Io Abadiri shows up at the end.
Yeah.
Rebecca Hall has a small part. Julie Kavner, speaking of The Simpsons,
That's right.
She's a small part, and she's sort of the narrator. In fact, she says that at the beginning. I'm the narrator, and that voice is incredible. you know that right away. So yeah, star-studded, a lot of people in it, and it's just a family comedy, dramedy kind of a thing that follows the title character, Ella, and she has grown up around politics, and she starts out as the lieutenant governor, and then she becomes the governor when the governor, played by
Brooks.
Albert Brooks. Speaking of broadcast news, when he gets an appointment for a federal appointment in the president's administration, she graduates to governor for a time, and so you got this political strife going on. At the same time, she's got this crazy family, and it's set in 2008. But even so, there's not one semblance of reality in this entire thing. It really feels like, and I don't want to get ageist about it, I don't, but it feels like your grandpa talking about the good old days that he misremembers because they really weren't that good.
Right.
And everything is just so simplistic. In Andy Griffith Show,
Yeah.
You've got these manufactured conflicts that really aren't much of a conflict at all, and then easy resolutions. There are no stakes. It's really bad.
It's bad.
It's really bad. And I felt for everybody involved. I mean, they signed on working with James L. Brooks, I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know what they saw in the script. Maybe things got changed throughout filming, but it's really hard to watch. It's just a mess as it goes on through Ella's life with her family, at the same time trying to navigate a scandal. What passes for a political scandal in this movie? You're like, I'm sorry? And I know it's set in today that would be gone in 5 minutes in a news cycle. We've moved on to something else. But even in 2008, that's not a scandal at all, and it's no kind of stakes, and it's just bad. I mean, when a trailer's that bad, you wonder, because this is what they're using to sell the movie, to get butts in the seats. And I remember looking at it, and Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, she's
fresh off her Oscar.
Oh my Lord! But even that scene, the screaming scene, you brought it up.
I did.
The screaming scene in that trailer with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, it was. I remember thinking that. I'm like, this. To me, in this trailer, this scene where these two women just scream and then feel better, it reads like something an old man with money wrote, thinking he understood the internal, like nobody
That's
ever
exactly right.
screams and then, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
nothing has been solved, but at least I've screamed.
That's
Let's
exactly.
do that every week.
That's exactly what pretty much every scene feels like. All the depth of a sitcom as they just move on to something else. It's really a shame to say this, but this is one of the worst movies that we've seen this year. And so yeah, a swing and a miss. But James L. Brooks, an incredible career. Incredible career.
Yeah.
This is near the bottom. And that is Ella McCay in theaters now.
Going to Netflix next from director Kate Winslet. It follows a group of fractured siblings who must come together under sudden and trying circumstances. Goodbye, June.
I kept getting this one confused with, because we've seen Kate Winslet and Scarlett Johansson become directors with, I don't know, similar titles. Scarlett's was Eleanor the Great.
That's right.
And now you've got, because when you brought this up to me, I'm like, oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson. No, Kate Winslet now in the director's chair.
Yeah, and she's just one of those people who I assume can do absolutely anything she chooses to do. Circus performer, sure, I bet.
She can hold her breath for an hour.
Yeah, she can hold her breath for 17 minutes.
Something like it's crazy.
It's crazy. So yeah, and she does a fine job behind the camera. But I was curious what it was that drew her to it. Well, this script was written by her son, Joe Anders.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, it did it for. It brought Daniel Day-Lewis out of retirement earlier this year. His son
totally understandable.
Wrote a film, and so so she directs this movie, and man, has she put together a cast. And they're probably all just friends of hers. They're probably her neighbors, but they're great, right? So Helen Mirren is her mother, June. Timothy Spall is her dad, Bernie. Her sisters are Toni Collette and Andrea Riseborough. And her brother is Johnny Flynn. Johnny Flynn I know less well, although I know he's a musician but he from Beast. He was in Beast. He was in Emma as well. I loved him in Beast anyway. And so this big family gets together Christmas week because June, her cancer is back and she's in the hospital and she's not ever going to come out. So then the rest of the film is the family dealing with each other, dealing with the grief, trying to come to terms with what's going on, not really letting her know that she's not going to make it to Christmas, trying to figure out, does dad even follow what's going on right now? And there are some really lovely moments. I think really each of the characters gets a really lovely moment. And one of the things I like best about this movie is that the Helen Mirren's June is not that sainted matriarch, right? She's great. You love her. It's not like, oh no, June, but she still needles her kids in ways that you realize she has always needled them. She does it unapologetically. She knows she does, and she's going to keep doing it. And she's fine with it, even though this is probably among the reasons that her kids are so full of strife when it comes to their relationships with each other. And I thought that felt authentic. That seemed, and of course, and Helen Mirren is always so wonderful, and she does bring this sort of mischievous quality to this character that I appreciated. And Timothy Spall is amazing. He's so good. And Andrea Riseborough as well. I loved her because she also she's just a bully. She's just, there's one of the doctors is explaining what's going on. He's clicking his pen, and she threatens to kill him if he doesn't stop clicking his pen. And I thought, no, that needed to happen. It's okay. And Winslet, characteristically amazing. She's sort of the sister that keeps everything together, that pays people's mortgages when they can't, and I think that there is something about many of the relationships that feels authentic. The problem is that the plot is so obvious and superficial and predictable that these beautiful performances cannot elevate this above like a streamer, like a tear. And the movie is trying to make you cry. And, I spent many holiday season in a hospital with my big family as my mom died. So guilty. I cried my eyes out. But I don't think that it has a ton more to offer. So while I think there are a lot of really lovely things about this movie, I was a little disappointed in it.
Now, is this the first script for Anders?
It is.
Okay. Well, yeah. So not a horrible debut at all. And certainly you get a cast like this. Hey, Mom, who do you know? Well, it turns out I know a lot of
Who
people.
doesn't she know?
Yeah, these are great actors. And of course, Winslet among them.
Yeah.
And this is her first, this is her debut as a filmmaker. So Yeah, so a decent debut for both.
And
Not
it's on
great.
Netflix. You
And it's
know,
on Netflix.
you feel like a Christmas weeper. Well, there you go.
Sometimes you need one.
Sometimes you do.
And that is Goodbye June, and it's on Netflix now.
Also in theaters, an 8-year-old girl asks her scheming neighbor for help in killing the monster under her bed that she thinks ate her family. Dust Bunny.
Loved it.
Now you talk about trailers.
Oh yeah.
As soon as we saw this trailer, we're in.
Yeah, all in. And it's such a funny idea, that it's just a lovely premise, a great premise that this little girl, she believes there's a monster under her bed. She thinks the weird guy up the hall maybe, could be hired to kill things. So she hires him to kill the monster under her bed. This is a great idea for a movie that could have been spoiled by a filmmaker who lacked imagination. Well, I'm going to say that Brian Fuller does not lack imagination. It's his first film.
Nice.
His directorial debut which is crazy. He's written a lot of TV, good TV, including Hannibal, which is probably how he nabbed Mads Mikkelsen. But visually, this movie is just glorious. It's such a mix between like Guillermo del Toro and Wes Anderson. Everything is very in place and fanciful, but it's all these highly saturated greens and reds. And there's this macabre wonder to it that never forgets, I think, that it's a child's imagination that's being explored. And so she's quite sure her parents are missing because there is this monstrous dust bunny that lives in the floor beneath her bed, and it ate her parents. And so Mikkelsen's character, we never know his name. He's 5B. He assumes, because of what he does do for a living, that somebody had the wrong address. They meant to kill him, and they killed this little girl's parents. And so he feels first a little guilty about it. Like, what am I going to do about this 8-year-old who has no parents now? And more importantly, what am I going to do? Somebody knows where I live, and they're going to try to kill me. So in comes Sigourney Weaver, who is having such a blast in this movie. She's just happy. She's a murderer. She's very, it's got to happen. If it's got to happen, she may as well be the one to take care of it. Don't you bother yourself about it. She's all in these floral patterns. She's so funny, smiling. Oh, she just is clearly having a blast. And
Clearly.
And in a movie that is just has you glued to it, like every color, every texture, every performance, she steals every scene she's in. She's so much fun. And so there are smaller roles. David Dastmalchian is in it for a second, playing what? A weirdo. Shut up. But he just fits so perfectly in the landscape. The imagery is so great. It's just, no part of it ever lets you down. You've got this great premise, you've got this great trailer, and the movie 100% delivers on all of it.
Yeah. There's one where the trailer, the movie delivers on the trailer.
That's right.
Yeah, because right away somebody was asking us today about, premises that we just keep seeing the same old thing all the time in movies that we watch. Well, not here.
No.
Yeah. No. So I love that. Monster under the bed, get Mads Mikkelsen to kill it. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. And that is a Dust Bunny, which is out in theaters. Check it out.
Next in theaters, a father accompanied by his son goes looking for his missing daughter in North Africa. It's Sirat.
Well, if you follow award season, you've probably already heard of this movie, and you're going to be hearing it more because right on through the Oscars, I expect this to get nominated for international feature right on through the Oscars. And its director, Oliver Laxay, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he co-wrote it as well. And the star is someone you'll probably know his face, even if you don't know his name. And it's Sergey Lopez,
who is in Pan's Labyrinth. Amazing. With a Friend Like Harry, amazing, and Dirty Pretty Things, amazing. And one of the things I love about those 3 movies is that they're in 3 different languages. And he's amazing in 3 different languages.
Always, yeah. And he's great here as he's a father who is searching for his daughter, who he hasn't heard from, let's put it that way, in about 5 months. And he brings along his young son as they go traveling through North Africa, looking for her. Now, it's a little murky about what happened. He's not really saying she was abducted, and she is an adult. So and the son seems a little less concerned. But the dad is going to raves out in the desert in Morocco and Mauritania and some of these countries. And really the first scene is these people setting up these gigantic speakers in the middle of the desert. And I'm not a fan of EDM music, but I'll tell you, it makes it the sound is part of this, part of the immersive experience of this movie. And just seeing these speakers out in the middle of the desert, and then they start playing this EDM music. There's a big crowd in this first rave, and people are just, doing their EDM dancing. And he is there looking for his daughter, apparently a big fan of these types of raves. And he doesn't find her in the first rave, but he hooks up with this group of 4 or 5 other ravers, and they say there's another one about a 5-hour drive. Um, and he is going to go sort of follow them and travel kind of with them as they get to know each other to the next rave, and hopefully look for her there and find her there and pass out his pamphlets and his flyers. Well, things go off the rails during the travel, during the trip to the next rave. So it's a bit of a road adventure where the stakes really escalate to sometimes always tense, and then sometimes very suddenly shocking lengths. And there are a couple of scenes that call to mind those truck scenes in Sorcerer. Not, it doesn't shred your nerves quite like that, but it's getting in that
High
territory
praise.
with a truck, struggling to get by. But yeah, and it's just a drama that can really keep you on the edge of your seat once you get past that first act. I think once things start escalating, and then the military is involved, because in some of these countries they're exiling people. People have to head to the border, so that means this group has to take a safer route to get around the military, but may not be safer in terms of terrain. And Loxay, man, the way he focuses, or the way he frames the landscapes, just the massive emptiness of where they're traveling through to this another rave in the middle of the desert, and the hazards that come their way. That's all we'll say about that. It's amazing, and it really is something that is so tense and shocking and heartbreaking, and an adventure that takes some turns. And this is another one to see, hopefully on the big screen, because of the photography and the sound. See, with one of those big sound systems will really ramp it up. But Sergey Lopez, always, he's a little, as we all are, a little older now. So you might, that is him. That is him. And he's always great. And the band of ravers is too. Everybody seems very authentic. But settle in. This is a serious drama that will take you places, and it's definitely worth seeing. Definitely one that is going to continue to be in the awards discussion, I think, right up through the Oscars. I'd be shocked if it doesn't get an Oscar nomination. And that is Sirat, in theaters now.
Also in theaters, a child witnesses his parents' murder by a man in a Santa suit. Years later, as an adult, he dons a Santa costume himself and embarks on a violent quest for retribution against those responsible for the traumatic event from his childhood. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh, we have a history with the original, with this franchise. And I know a lot of people like it. I don't.
Yeah, no, I remember my birthday is near Christmas, and one time on my birthday we were on vacation, but it was pouring down rain and we couldn't leave the room. And I said, what we're gonna do? It's my birthday and I get to choose. We're gonna watch Silent Night, Deadly Night. So we did. I would
Awful.
I've never subjected him to 2, 3, 4, or 5. And I think a lot of people don't even know there is such a thing as 3, 4, or 5.
But even the ones that do acknowledge they're terrible.
Yes.
Even if they're fans of the franchise in a so bad it's fun, and I totally get that. But even the ones that like the first one, I think almost everybody acknowledges the rest of that franchise is garbage.
Yes, and I mean I'll also admit the first one is not particularly good, but
But this one, surprisingly good.
Yeah, I had low expectations going to this, just because the franchise is pretty weak, honestly. And Mike P. Nelson revisits a lot of the major beats from the original, all of the really important ones, including the car sequence when Billy, who is now played by Rowan Campbell, that you might know from Halloween Ends or from The Monkey. So Billy, when he's 8 years old, a man dressed as Santa Claus takes a shotgun and murders his parents in front of him. And so then, as an adult, as you recall from the earlier films, Billy is triggered by the suit. He has to put the suit on one day, and he's triggered and commits murder. He murders everybody he considers naughty. Now, here is the great thing that Nelson does. Shotgun Santa stays with Billy his whole life from the moment that of the car assassination forward, as sort of this running commentary is in his head, is like his imaginary friend. And he, Shotgun Santa, tells Billy who is naughty. And so that actually makes for a very interesting twist to this whole thing. And so Billy has traveled to this little town, and he takes a job at this Christmas trinket store because he is sweet on Pam, who works there, Ruby Moodine, who was in Happy Death Day. And so again, it hits a lot of the same beats as the original, but it does it in a way that never feels spoofy or campy or forced. It's always very fresh and interesting, the twist that he puts on it. The performances are really good. It's funny where it needs to be. It's cathartic in where there's one particular party where he kills, I'm just going to say it. Can I say it? He kills a big room full of Nazis. And when is that not fun?
Yeah, that's pretty satisfying.
So, and they kind of write themselves into an ending that isn't the best ever, but you'll see it coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see it coming. But still, it's a fun movie. Yeah. It's a Christmas horror movie that I will revisit.
And the production values are surprisingly high.
They really are.
I was not expecting that either, based on the franchise. So yeah, I didn't like it as much as you did. Yeah. I liked it a heck of a lot better than the first one, or I imagine any of the others 4 that I haven't seen.
They do work in a garbage day.
Yes, you got. At least I know that you got to work in the garbage day. It may not be phrased exactly the same way, but you'll find it in there. And a couple other callbacks too.
Oh,
to
yeah,
some
for
other
sure.
Things
Yeah.
you might know. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely fans of the franchise too.
Yeah.
Don't miss it.
No.
But probably be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. And it's in theaters.
And it is in theaters.
Yeah.
So there you go. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Let's go to Shudder next. In southern France, a young woman's chilling fascination with murder and identity theft sends her life into a whirlwind of chaos. Influencers.
Yeah, here's one that we have a bit of a history with, going back to the original, because this is a sequel to Influencer by Kurtis David Harder, the writer-director. And we first saw that movie back when it was on the festival circuit with Nightmares Film Festival. He submitted it to Nightmares Film Festival a few years ago in the thriller category, and we are judges for the thriller category, and put it right in there, and it ended up winning Best Thriller at the festival. And he came, and we did the Q&A with him, and got to get a little behind the scenes action. So that was awesome, and really enjoyed Influencer.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think I said to him at the Q&A that night was, if you've seen Influencer, and if you haven't, it's on Netflix and Shudder.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a shot at the very end of Influencer that makes you think the main character, CW, is going to be back for more. And he says that he didn't really plan it at the time, but once it got a success, and once Shudder was interested, it was the perfect way to have him revisit what she's doing now. So we were really looking forward to this. And the cool thing is, we got to talk to Kurtis David Harder on our other podcast called Fright Club, and that just went live this week. And we talked about this movie as it's coming out.
And here's just a clip of it where he talks a little bit about why he's drawn to these influencers as characters.
The goal for me in both movies is we're coming in really hot with our introductions to new characters in both things. So it's like we're seeing a very extreme version of this person in almost every character that we meet in both films. And slowly the idea of this kind of like these first impressions, first judgments, to me is really fun to play with, because you can kind of see where they've ended up. And for the rest of the film, we're slowly kind of pulling that back, and we're seeing kind of, how did we get here? Do these people believe what they're doing? This whole like character that they're playing online, is that actually who they are? Or is this just something that they've morphed into?
Yeah, so the main character, CW, is again played by Cassandra Nod, and she's great.
She's so good.
Turns us into a fascinating character. And when we meet up with her, she's sort of quieted down from her murderous ways. In the first movie, she was teaching social media influencers some lessons, some really bloody lessons. But here, a few years later, she's quieted down. She's got a steady girlfriend, and it seems like she's happy. In fact, she's letting her guard down in a few situations and seeming to be happy. But then they cross paths with another travel influencer, and before you know it, CW is back to her own old ways, and then she has to start cleaning up her tracks, and things go off the rails, and we're back into another mystery here. And it's a lot of fun, especially as Harder has good instincts about how to update how he deals with social media and how it has changed over the last few years.
Yeah, how the idea of the influencer has changed. That
Yeah.
the people who are considered influencers now are different than they were a few years ago, and that's really updated quite well in this one with satisfying results. As the third act, also quite satisfying, goes a little nutty, a little wild in ways that are super fun.
Yeah, you've got a side character, a new character, Jacob, who's one of those bro influencers, and that was a side that needed to be explored.
It was, yeah.
With the social media landscape. And also another one of the things he talks about in our Fright Club podcast was it bringing Chat GPT into it, which was not a thing really as prevalent as it is now in the first movie. So that comes into it. And once again, he shoots in these fantastic locations. I mean, some of the cinematography and the sets are just gorgeous.
It does make you want to go to Bali.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah. And then a character from the first movie, Madison, played by Emily Tennant, she is back as well to head toward hopefully some final confrontation with CW. So I would definitely, I think you could enjoy it without seeing the first one, but since the first one is out there now, I mean, check it out first on Netflix or Shudder, Influencer.
If you have Shudder, they're both there.
Yeah,
so just watch them back to back. It's super fun.
Yeah, it is.
And it's gorgeous. Like, you go to these gorgeous locations and you'll forget you're in crappy, snowy Ohio.
Yeah. And then when you see the first one and you see that final shot, and then you'll be able to go, boom, right to the next one that we kind of wondered about years ago when we saw the first one. And then the first movie kind of, it makes the ending of the second movie that much more shocking.
Yeah.
Because the tone, this one is more of a horror movie. I will say that.
The first one was more of a thriller.
More of a thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a mystery though. You still have to figure out what's going on as people try to track down CW and what she's doing. But it's also quite a mess in the third act.
In a good way.
In a good way, yeah. They really went for it. So I think it's an enjoyable couple of movies. I really do, and it's a great job by Kurtis David Harder and the cast. And a lot of fun. It's just fun.
It is.
It's one of those thrillers that's fun, and this one is a bloody thriller fun, and you try to stay on top of it. And it's one that deals, I think, a lot of movies, for good reason, since it's such a huge part of our lives now, try to comment on social media, and a lot of times it comes off as finger wagging.
Oh yeah, very much.
This one does not.
No.
This one just sort of weaves it into our landscape, and it has does a decent job of anticipating some of your questions as it goes along. So yeah, just a lot of fun. A lot of fun, both of them. So you can check them both out now on Netflix and on Shudder. Influencer and Influencers. Enjoy.
And in theaters and on VOD, a movie that follows a brilliant airline captain who has a perfect life with her husband, a renowned doctor. Something is about to change as she falls in love with another woman and starts an intense affair in visions.
Rachel Willis reviewed this one for us at MaddWolf and was disappointed in it. Diane Kruger is the star, and she plays the airline pilot, and she is wonderful, just exceptional in the whole film. And what's unfortunate is that none of the other characters really have any opportunity to get fleshed out. And her character sees visions, and the story itself is so vague. The mystery behind the visions are so vague, and the other characters are so sort of inconsequential that it's hard to make yourself want to keep paying attention. And even if you do, the payoff is not really worth it. So she was pretty disappointed and felt like really the movie didn't live up to Diane Kruger. Like she really brought something, and the rest of the movie was like, eh.
She's always good.
She's
always good, and she's one of those that can elevate some weaker material. But when you surround yourself with characters that aren't really worth it, it doesn't help the story any. So you can check out Rachel's full review at MaddWolf.com, and that is Visions, and that one is that one's on.
It's day and date.
Day and date.
Some theaters and streaming.
Okay, and that's Visions. As we look ahead to next week, Schlock and Tier taking this week off. Got a big one next week that we've already seen, but weren't allowed to talk about it. You know, the lawyers and It's Avatar: Fire and Ash is in the big screens starting next weekend.
And it is competing with The Housemaid.
Also, is this thing on? Oh, we just saw
We
that,
saw
one,
that
too.
one too, yeah.
That's the latest directorial effort, and he has a small part
Yeah.
from Bradley Cooper.
That's right.
That'll be next week.
Also, The Search for SquarePants.
and No More Time.
No More Time.
Okay, that's next week, and hopefully we'll see the return of Schlocketeer to the fun. But until then, what are you watching? What are you liking? Let us know. We always like to keep the conversation going. You can find us at MaddWolf.com is the main website, MaddWolf Columbus on all the socials. And by all means, if you like influencers, maybe before you see it or maybe after, get a little deeper dive, check out our Fright Club podcast with special guest.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Wouldn't do it. Special guest Kurtis David Harder, Fright Club. That's on all your normal outlets and YouTube as well. So check it all out. Keep in touch. Have a great week. Enjoy your holiday season as we get closer to the big day. And by that, I mean Hope's birthday. So hopefully talk soon. She is Hope Madden.
He's George Wolf.
And this is the Screening Room Podcast.
See ya.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.